Hello, my algebra students. Today I'm going to show you how to factor trinomial. It's of the form ax squared plus minus bx plus or minus c. The first thing we have to know is what these things are. Like a is a number before x squared, b is a number before the middle coefficient, and c is the last constant. So let's identify all of these numbers in all three of these examples. So we're going to start with the first example. My a, this is my a. Well, I don't have an a. What am I supposed to do? Well, I can always stick a 1. And it looks like it's 1 everywhere for the sake of this particular video. And my a is going to be 1. My b in this case is 7 and c is positive 12. A is 1. B is negative 3 and C is negative 40. So we have A is 1, negative 12 for B, and positive 35 for C. Identifying these coefficients are going to be the base of our method, which is called X method. So we are going to make these trinomials right here look like this. Like a product of two binomials. So this is going to be our end product right here. And right here. And the first thing I'm going to put x here. So it's going to be x times x squared. So when you multiply these guys out, you're going to end up with this one on the top. So I'm not solving anything. I'm just making this trinomial look a little different, like a product of two binomials. So the first step is to make an x, and on the bottom of the x goes my middle coefficient b, which is positive 7, and on the top goes a product of a times c. 1 times 12 is 12. Now my job is to take my c, number 12, and break it down into factors. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4 seems to be the only factors here for 12. And then I'm going to find the pair of them that will add to number 7 right here in the bottom. So they have to multiply to 12, but also add to 7. Let's see which ones are going to work. The first two don't work because if you add them up, it's going to be bigger than 7. But 3 and 4 works just fine. Nicely. So I'm going to put positive 3, positive 4. And I'm pretty much done because my factored form of this trinomial on the top is going to look like x plus 3 and x plus 4. Here we go. This is our very first trinomial, which is factored. Not too bad, I think. Let's take a look at the next one. What I noticed right away here is there's a negative signs going on. Oops, let's make it yellow. Negative signs going on here and here, so it's going to look a little different. So let's get started. So the first thing, I'm going to go ahead and put my little x's in the front of each parenthesis. Then we're going to make an x. On the bottom goes the middle coefficient. Make sure that you take the sign with the coefficient, which is negative 3. And on the top goes 1 times negative 40, negative 40. So again, I take the top coefficient, negative 40, and figure out the factors. I'm going to forget for a minute that it's negative and just write down the factors. So we're going to start with 1 and 40, 2 and 20, and then 4 and 10, 5 and 8, and that's we're done right here. Now, after we're done, we need to think just a little bit. It looks like we have two integers that multiply to a negative number. Well, the only way for two integers to multiply to a negative number is one of them being positive and one of them being negative. Well, they have to add to -3. That tells you right there that the negative number is going to be greater digit. Bigger digit is going to be negative. So it looks like the bigger digits on the right. If I make one of them negative here and here, let's say these guys, even this one, when we add them up, they end up to being smaller negative. The only way that would work if I have a +5 and a -8. -8 plus +5 is going to give you -3. So -8 and a +5. So and then we just fill it in our little factored form. That's the whole thing is about, turning this funny looking trinomial into product of two binomials. It will help you out later when you're trying to solve equations. It will make it a little simpler and easier to deal with. And the last problem right here, as you can see, this time we have two negatives, well, one negative, one positive going on. So let's make an x. We know that on the bottom we're going to have a -12. And on the top, we're going to have +35. So let's take the 35 again and find the factors of it. 35 and 1. Oops. 1 and 35. Should put 2, 3 does not go. 4, 5, 5 and 7. And that's about as far as I can go. Now the product is positive. That means that both numbers should have the same sign. Since the sum is negative, that both numbers should be negative. So if both of these negative, it's not going to add to -12, but these nicely add to -12. So it's going to be -5. There you go. And -7. X take away 7. X take away 5. Now what's cool about it, that these two will multiply, and when we simplify it, they're going to look just like this trinomial. And they are, in fact, the same thing, just looking different. They are, in fact, the same thing. All right, so we're going to do a new whiteboard. Well, and that would be it for today. Thank you for your attention.